is key in anything in life, in any role in life, I believe. If you want to be the best at it, you've got to be obsessed by it. You've got to give your life it. You've got to live it. You've got to breathe it. You've got to be willing to go that extra mile just where certain people aren't willing to go. Because if you want to get to where anyone can come in a gym and kick the pads and spar and do this, but when they're tired, it depends, are they willing to do another round? Are they going to get back on the pads afterwards? When you can't breathe anymore, you've been hurt to the body in the middle of like round 10 of sparring and a fresh opponent comes in, are they going to get out? Or are you going to stay in and you're going to keep going? So obsession is massively important in anything, not just fighting, just in any walk of life where you want to be successful. You've got like a devil and an angel on your shoulder all the time, and that devil just needs to knock it off, because you're always going to have these doubts. You know what, I come in here some days, I'll be training for a fight and I'll train 3 days in a row and I'll be on fire, and I'll have one bad day, which is expected when you're doing like an 8-week camp or anything like that. And you have one bad day, and that bad day outweighs the good 3 days by a mile, and I'll go home thinking, oh, I'm shit, what am I doing? What am I doing here? I'm going to get battered in this fight. But then you come back in the next morning, you have one good session again, and that doubt's gone again. So it's hard to get rid of them demons. And I think every top athlete will have some doubts always creep in, but it's the ones who just manage to just ignore them and knock them to one side and just think like, oh, it's part and parcel of it. You're always, no matter what you're doing, I'm pretty sure Usain Bolt must sometimes think, oh, shit, what if Johnson or someone else beats me this race or something like that, you know? It must just creep in at some point, but they're so mentally strong, they just go, doesn't matter. It's gone, and then they'll be back to the tunnel vision. I think any athlete who says that they never have any sort of doubts is lying. I think everyone's got one that creeps in somewhere, but it's the ones who just manage to just push them to one side and keep the tunnel vision and keep the... What I do is I visualise after the fight. I don't visualise what's going to happen in the fight, because I never know. I just always visualise what it's like to win after the fight, what I'll be doing after the fight, how I'll feel after the fight, and I think doing that always helps you stay mentally strong. I believe your mind's your strongest weapon, and your body will, your mind will give up before your body long ever does. You just need to tell yourself it won't. Like David Goggins and people like, look what they do with their body, and it's their mind that's making them do it. I've worked with a mind coach before called Vinny Shawman, and we've done like little bits of work, and I worked with him for that rematch. And it's hard to explain what he does with people, because what he does is different for everyone. But my mindset was so strong from working with him. It took a few weeks and just a few sessions just to instill a few key words into my head. And what he had my corner team doing was, one of the key words was warrior. So he had my corner team saying, Liam, you're a warrior, blah, blah, this, that, and that. And it just helped like keep me so focused and so focused on the task at hand and stuff like that. It's really hard to explain unless you've ever like done it yourself and stuff like that. Because like I said, what he does with everyone is different. But what he did with me for that fight were unbelievable. Getting out of your comfort zone is massively important. And again, that comes down to the same thing as obsession. I think you can't just be comfortable in what you're doing, you need to be out of your comfort zone. Like in training, you need to be in 6 to 8 weeks out of your comfort zone. Otherwise, when you fight, it's going to be healthier. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like, I said before, I didn't want to be like a big fish in a small pond. I wanted to go over there, and I went to a gym called Jitty Gym, and it had a lot of Thai champions in at the time and top level guys. So I wanted to live like they did. I wanted to train how they did. And for the first like 3-4 weeks until I got used to it, it were hell. I was living on a mattress on the floor, just like the Thais did. And I said to them, just treat me how you treat anyone else. And they did. They had me fighting every 3-4 weeks, which I loved. But yeah, it got tough at some points because I was out there fighting for money as well. I was only 18 when I went. I'd not had too much money saved up. I just went out there and I was fighting for money. At one point, I was like, I'd be running low on money. If my body's a bit banged up and I'm injured, it didn't matter. I had to fight. You either fight or go home. So that's what I did. I just used to fight as often as I could, as regular as I could. I worked on the things I wasn't as good at as like clinch work. Like the Thais are masters of it, and the Westerners are okay, but they're not as good as the Thais. I clinched every day with like Thai champions. I made sure again, like there were a Thai trainer there called Rajasak. Training finished at 6 p.m. every night. It was 3 in the afternoon till 6 p.m. I were always there at 6:45, still doing bits of extra work with him, trying to bring myself up, because these guys over in Thailand, they've all been doing it since 6 years old. It's second nature to them. So I'm trying to catch them up. So if that means staying late while everyone else is eating dinner, that's what I'm willing to do. And I don't think I'd ever really been hurt too bad in a fight before that fight, let alone get stopped. So obviously to come back from something like that, it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of mental strength, a lot of mental fortitude, and you do have to do a bit of soul searching and you have to question yourself, but it all comes down to, is the juice worth the squeeze, and is it worth putting everything else back in, or are you just going to quit and just let that be like that? So that fight, probably, it all comes down to that, and that's the most powerful weapon you've got. And my knee, my whole camp was building my knee up, and then I fought and won championship, the biggest fight organisation in the world, and I won Fight at Night. So that's down to that. It's how bad do you want it, and how much can you let that control you or not control you. You can sit around and wait for stuff to happen, or you can get out there and make things happen, and that is massively important in any walk of life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, you've got to get after it, you've got to chase it, you've got to make it happen yourself, because no one's going to get gifted to you. You're going to have to work for it, and those people who are working and those people who are just grinding and they are going the extra hour, doing the extra mile, they're the ones that are going to be at the top. Losers always have an excuse. Everyone who loses or something, losers have excuses. That's a good one. You have to rise above the pain. I like that. Rising above pain. Everyone feels pain. There's no like person out there who's a Terminator. Everyone does. It's just how you deal with the pain. That's what makes the difference. A strong mindset is, I've said it before, everything comes down to that. A strong mindset will take you as far as you want to go in life. I think everyone who wants success, they have to do the hard work. Some people try and find a shortcut, but you should never want to try and find a shortcut. Hard work should always be like the main thing, and you should enjoy how hard you've got to work as well to get there, because it just makes it that much sweeter in the end. That you can only be truly good at something that you love. Like I said, I've tried other sports like K1 kickboxing style, which I should really, with the way I fight and how my style is, I should really be good at those sports. But it's a bit different to Muay Thai. The scoring is different. There's a few different rules that aren't the same. So I didn't enjoy it, so I was never successful at it, because I wasn't enjoying my training. I was just like getting through it. I was still working hard, but I wasn't enjoying it. Like, I'd never had that buzz when I was leaving. I just remember thinking, oh, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that, which I couldn't. So I never like got the buzz. So yeah, it is massively important to find something you truly, truly love. Obviously, as I got older and my friends are going out and stuff, I've had to miss a lot of things like parties and nights out and stuff like that, but I wouldn't change it for the world, you know. You can go out on the piss anytime, but like for the life I've led and the experiences I've had and stuff like that, I would not change a thing. I have sacrificed a lot and I probably missed out on a lot, but I've gained a lot more. Is it worth it? Is the end goal worth all the hard work that you're putting through? Is it worth dragging yourself out of bed when your body's in pain? Is it worth getting in there and sparring with some guy who's probably a lot better than you, but you're trying to better yourself? Is it worth round 5 when you're exhausted and there's 30 seconds left and the fight's even? Is it worth pushing yourself that little bit extra? Is it worth running an extra mile? Is it worth getting up at 6 in the morning doing hill sprints? Is it worth it? And the answer will always be, for me, yes.